As the National Assembly resumes today, leaders say they are worried at the state of the nation. As the Senate President says, security in Nigeria is deteriorating. And the People's Democratic Party is contemplating its participation in future elections if the electoral laws are not reviewed. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbalea, Channels Television's global headquarters here in Lagos. So much to talk about, and these are critically issued, especially when those who are in power and in government are realizing some of the issues and they are taking them on. So the leadership of the People's Democratic Party are saying that it might be difficult for the party to contest in future elections without any amendment to the existing electoral laws. The national chairman of the party, Mr. Uche Secondus, stated these at a meeting with officials of the International Republican Institute, IRI, were on a familiarization tour to the PDP. According to Mr. Secondus, the Nigeria electoral system has deviated several miles from what it was in 2015 when the PDP conceded defeat and handed over power to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC.
One of the areas that we are looking forward in our country is our electoral processes and our electoral laws. We believe that they are antiquated now. They needed amendments. We need to improve on our voting patterns and then the reporting or results from the point where you vote, the transmission processes. It's all embodied in the electoral processes and amendment. Without that, it will be difficult for us to think about contesting any election because the previous experience has been terrible and horrifying. We lost the election in 2015, obviously. The choice of the people must prevail and the will of the people must prevail. As Democrats, seamlessly, transition was very smooth. And for the first time in the history of our country, from 1960 up to date, there has never been any smooth civilian to civilian transition, or from one party to the other. That was accomplished and achieved by the PDP.
So talking about the issues of election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has been speaking on the outcome of the last Saturday rerun elections in 11 states of the Federation. The umpire says that the exercise was largely successful and smooth in some areas, commending voters and other stakeholders. But the Commission laments some bad behaviors targeted at subverting the exercise in some isolated places. INEC says it will discountenance the outcome of such exercise, like specifically in Akwa Ibom State, where officials of the Commission were abducted. INEC says it will not accept results from areas where the results were disrupted. So now, the National Assembly has resumed activities. The federal lawmakers have resumed from their holidays of about 5 weeks. But when they resume, it appears they have been listening and seeing what is happening, listening to their constituencies and watching what has been happening across the country. The Senate President laments the state of security and other critical aspects of Nigerian life. Also, the Senate says that it will fast-track the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, amendment of the Electoral Act, and power sector reforms. Senate President Ahmed Lawan announced this at the resumption of the National Assembly after nearly 5 weeks of recess. Take a listen to him when he highlighted those critical areas of the economy, the issues of amendment to the electoral law, the PIB, and also security. He says it has deteriorated. Take a listen to him.
in our country requires serious attention and due consideration by the Senate and indeed the National Assembly. Recently, the security in the country had deteriorated and the attendant loss of lives is not acceptable. We need to secure the lives and property of our citizens as enshrined in our Constitution. We are all witnesses to how the economy is also affected by the inclement security situation. Therefore, we need to speedily seek for solutions to fix the security problem bedeviling our dear country. For a long time, major stakeholders in the country, in the security of our nation and police authorities appear to achieve consensus on the necessity of the introduction of community policing in the country. The Senate is going to pursue the implementation of community policing vigorously. To this end, the police authorities will be invited to brief and update the Senate on the progress made so far.
So grab a seat and let's make sense of what this means for you and I. If you're living in the upper northern region of the country or down south in the country or wherever in the middle belt of the country, it does come to one thing. Amotekun is one issue. A lot of people are talking in the southwest region of the country. Some people are talking about Hisba, talking about the northeast insurgency. So many issues of banditry and insecurity in some parts of the country. The National Assembly is worried and they are speaking up. Now, this is a Senate president who is a leader of the APC talking about some of the major issues in the land. That is what we're going to be discussing. There are a few other political issues that we want to inform you about. Take a listen to them on our political roundup.